Welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode number 296. My name is Brando. If you're watching on Zoom, perhaps you've seen these fine folks opening up for Guns N' Roses in Denver, soon to be household names, if not already. They're probably, I'm sure you are in Colorado. We got to learn here on the East Coast and other places. We got the Velveteers, Demi and Baby. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. We're
Thank
excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. And I'm not going to claim that I really know about Colorado. I made my first visit there only a few weeks ago. And I kind of just dipped my toes in. I was there for like a week. And then, no, excuse me, I was gone for a week, but my fiance, she's like, let's go to Arizona for a couple of days. No, let's go to Denver for a couple of days. Let's go to, Utah. So I didn't get to experience a lot. So I'm just curious, are you guys from the area? Can you teach me more about Denver and, the Rocky Mountains, if I ask?
Yeah, we're both Colorado natives, so been here our whole life. It's pretty awesome. Were you just on a trip here? Or?
Yeah, just
Nice.
Just on a rare vacation.
Where'd you go?
I was trying to remember that. It was around where the Rockies play, that I guess it's like a main street. It's
so like maybe downtown Denver?
Yeah, that's where it is.
Nice.
We would drive past where the Rockies play and also where the Broncos play and just trying out different restaurants. And, between you, me, Baby, and the wall, as soon as I got to Denver, I went to the dispensaries. Let's just be real. That's just,
Yeah.
I'm not a drinker, but, going to Denver, it might have been, no, it wasn't my first experience, but that was certainly a trip to see a place like that's has had it legalized for a while, and just how happy everybody is in that town. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised to see smiles on both of your face.
It's always interesting to talk to someone who doesn't live here because we're so used to it now that I don't even think that it's not a normal thing to most people.
It felt weird. I'm like, am I allowed to do this? But that's a whole other conversation. But because today, because you're going to be a household name soon because your debut LP is not out yet. It's coming out October 8th in the Nightmare Daydream, or just Nightmare Daydream, correct?
Yeah.
And I can't believe this. This is produced by Dan Auerbach from the Black
Mhm.
Keys.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did you guys connect with Dan?
Well, that was kind of a funny story. It was really just out of the blue. We were just on our couch one day. I think we were like probably just playing music on our guitars, just hanging out. And we got a call saying that Dan Auerbach saw a video of us on YouTube and that he really liked it and that he wanted to fly us out to Nashville to hang out with him. And we were like, oh, he wants to like hang out with us? Like, what does that mean? So yeah, we were just like, that's really cool. And then 2 weeks later we were in Nashville. Just we got to go to his studio and we all just hung out. And I think that was when we realized that that Dan wanted to work with us. So
Yeah, we went there. We didn't even play music on that first trip. We just walked into his studio and met him. And me and Demi were really nervous and scared. And we just talked to Dan, and everyone was really relaxed and chill. And we just talked about music for like 3 hours, and then got dinner. And he just showed us around the studio and showed us instruments. And then we went home back to Colorado. And in the next upcoming weeks, they were like, yeah, we want to make an album with you guys.
yeah, and we were only in Nashville for like a day, so that was also kind of trippy, like just being in one place for a day. And like, I don't know, it's a lot to process.
I can only imagine. It's not like, again, even I was complaining about my short trip in Colorado. I was there for 2-3 days. You're there for a day. But just to take a step back, did you believe that it was Dan calling you? Because that's not, that's great what happens now. That's like famously the lead singer for Journey was found on YouTube. So it's not a story that hasn't been heard before, but it doesn't happen to everybody. You're sitting on the couch, and do you think it was one of your friends or your mom playing a joke on you even? Like, did it?
Well, it was our manager that called us, so
Okay.
we
Oh, fair.
we believed him. And I think we also knew it was legit because like in that same moment, like we got a bunch of on Instagram, like Dan's label followed us, and um, a bunch of people from his label followed us that same day. So
Oh, wow. So where were
yeah.
you considered the Velveteers before then? Because obviously now you have a big name supporting you. We're not even getting into yet, obviously, the Guns N' Roses stuff. But like, where were the Velveteers in your career? Because you both look young. I mean, I'm gonna be 38 in a few days. I feel already in death's door, and 38 is apparently not that old. But I'm assuming you guys in your early 20s, late, I don't even know, late teen, yeah, early 20s.
Yeah.
And music is obviously a very hard career. Um, so where were you? Like, did you have other, interest around? Were you just playing Denver strictly? Were you traveling? So what was the kind of the status of the Velveteers pre, kind of being found by Dan Auerbach?
Well, we had been working really hard. Like I would say over the last 6 years that we've been a band, we've just been chugging away at it. And
Years. Wow.
we always did a lot of DIY stuff. So like I was the manager for the band and like I would book our tours, and so we would go on tours to like the UK, and we did that a couple times, and then we would play locally and we'd try to tour as much as we could. And just writing music a lot, and making demos. And we kind of, I think we had the feeling like something cool was going to happen in the future, and we didn't really know what it was, but we knew that we needed to like prepare for whatever this thing was going to be. So we just practiced and wrote as much music as we could, and then it just kind of happened.
That's cool. So how long have you, and I mean, 6 years is a long time. I mean, that's great. It's certainly, you're putting in the hard work. But how long have
Yeah.
like you and Baby known each other? Like, how did the band first form?
We've known each other since we were 14 and 15.
Cool.
And we formed the band in 2014. And we met each other at a show. And we were both at the show and we just talked the entire time. We didn't even watch the bands. Um, yeah.
Yeah, Demi, I was front row for the show at this little venue in Colorado, and I think we were both like kind of by ourselves at the show, and I just felt this tap on my shoulder, and I looked over there, and then Demi was on the other side of me, and she was just like, "Hi."
Yeah, we were both just very awkward teens, like too afraid to go up to each other and talk. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, hi," because I knew of Demi, but we'd never met, and then we just started talking a bunch, and then she asked me to. Demi was starting like a solo project under her own name that was like an acoustic band, and she asked me to drum for it, but I said no because I had missed. I was really obsessive with practicing back then. I had missed 3 days of the practicing, and I somehow convinced myself that that meant I wasn't a good drummer at all. Um, and so I told Demi, I was like, "Ah, I missed, like, I can't practice. Like, or no, I can't be in your band. I'm not in practice. I'm really, really sorry. Maybe message me again in 3 months." And then I was really dramatic about it. And then 3 months later, Demi just messaged me on Facebook and just said hi. and and then I responded. I was like, "Oh, hi. I think I'm ready to like jam if you want to jam." and and then Demi was like, "Yeah, I'm looking to start a two-piece band. I'm wondering if you'd be interested."
Okay.
And then that's kind of how the band started.
Love
Yeah.
it. I love the awkward beginnings because that's how I'm still awkward. It's not even like awkward beginnings for me. It's just I'm going to be that way until the end. So
Yeah, me too.
An awkward existence. That's how it is for us as well.
what did you guys bond over musically? What were your influences? That did you talk about music, or what were you both listening to? I'm assuming that's kind of what you bonded over.
Yeah. Well, we were both obsessed with this local band called Rose Hill Drive. If you haven't heard of them, you should check them out because they're really, really cool.
I will.
And I think at the time, like we were probably the youngest fans of that band. Like And I didn't know anyone else my age who liked that band as much as I did. So we just really bonded over that band, and they were like local celebrities that, we would get so excited over seeing them when we went out.
And it felt like a really rare thing that we'd met someone in each other that really loved that band as well, because they weren't they're like, people refer to them as like the best kept secret in like rock and roll. Like not that many people know of them, which is a shame. So meeting someone our own age who loved their music and wanted to start a band felt like a dream. Like it was very surreal. And that I was an instant bond that we were just instantly like, well, you're the person that we both want to play music with.
Oh, very cute. I like that. So what was the what's the scene like in Denver musically? What's like the vibe there? Because I told you, I mean, I didn't get to see any shows, but everybody there was very cool, very positive, seemed like kind of a rock town. So how would you describe the scene where you're from?
There's a lot of really cool DIY venues. Unfortunately, I guess some of them didn't really make it through COVID, but that's one thing I've always loved about Denver is just it feels like there's definitely a cool little like underground DIY scene. And then there's a lot of like rock bands and a lot of cool like dive bars, and a lot of the local rock bands will play those dive bars. So yeah.
How about some of your favorite, I guess, musicians that influenced you? Perhaps names that we know. Do you have like certain singers that maybe influenced your style, Demi, or maybe certain musicians that influence your style?
In Denver, or just in general?
In general.
Oh. Um,
Because I
I
get,
really love
I'm waiting for someone to say David Bowie. I'm surprised it's taken this long.
oh
To
yeah, I mean, of course, David Bowie and Mark Bolan. PJ Harvey is a big one for me. Alison Mosshart.
okay.
Yeah.
What about for you, baby? Who influences you as a musician?
As a musician, I really like Jeff Porcaro and Devendra Banhart, which those two names I don't think have ever been said together. But um, I just, I mean, anybody who is just kind of being themselves and being authentic with the music they want to make, I find really enjoyable and cool.
That's how I feel, and that's honestly why. While even though they're a big and household name, that's why I like Guns N' Roses. They just do whatever they want to do. So I mean, it's one thing to be sitting on your couch and being told that Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys wants to fly you out, for a day. Uh, but then what was the situation about opening for Guns N' Roses in Denver? I mean, it's one of those silver linings that somebody in Mammoth, so Wolfgang Van Halen's camp, got COVID. It was just him, the opener, just the band. I mean, GNR is usually great with having. They've done this in years past, where they might have a local act open for them in that city, but I get with COVID protocol, that's just too much to ask for. So somebody got COVID. Unfortunately, I think that day there was no opener. But then all of a sudden I hear the Velveteers, and I think that's when I'm gonna be honest with you. I search Guns N' Roses on Twitter, and I guess that's how I find my news and stuff. So I see that's how I found you initially, and I'm checking it out. Like, okay, I'm listening to music. What's the single Charmer and the Snake that's out now. I'm like, oh, rad! Like, I'm excited for the people in Denver to go see. So if you can just take us through how that happened and your reaction to opening up for GNR.
Yeah. It was a crazy experience. We were sleeping one morning, and we just get this call from our manager being like, you guys are opening for Guns N' Roses on Monday. And we were just like, what? Like, it was especially weird because I was literally just asleep. So I was like trying to like wake up and be like, what?
Yeah, it was 8 in the morning. And
Yeah.
he said that, and my first reaction was panic. Like the first thing that went in my head was like, oh no, because I was like, I am scared and nervous. But then I instantly was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's crazy. How did this happen? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. And then our manager was like, you guys, you have to get COVID tests today. You have to get a rapid test. You have to get another, like, we had to get like multiple COVID tests. And like, we were all like kind of just all over the place because they had to have them by a certain time. Because I don't know, I guess it takes like 48 hours to get the rapid tests back or something. So we were driving all around town because these clinics were like closing at like 3 o'clock. So like we were kind of like just trying to get our tests as fast as we could and getting all of our members, like Johnny, like we were like, you have to come right now. Like we all have to go get tests before this time.
Yeah, we messaged Johnny right after we got off the phone with our manager, and it was like 8 in the morning, and I was hungover a little bit, I think, and so he saw I texted him and I say, I think we're opening for Guns N' Roses on Monday. You need to come over so we can get tested. And his first response was, I work on Monday, and he works at a car wash. And in my head, I was like, what? I responded, I was like, no, you don't. You don't work on Monday. And he later told me that he like read the message wrong. He didn't realize I said Guns N' Roses. He thought it was a different band, and he was just confused.
Oh, that is great. Yeah, you're not working. Come on, the car wash will be there tomorrow. This is an opportunity. And yeah, that's what I thought about, because that's what GNR is doing. I hear that it's really, they're not letting anybody backstage. Everyone's being tested. That's what they're trying to get through this tour where everybody else is, canceling or getting COVID, postponing dates. So, knock on wood, they keep going. But yeah, for you to have that quick turnaround of we're opening up for Guns N' Roses and to go through all this medical stuff. I mean, did you even have time to process any of this, like, at all?
Not really. And I think that might have been a good thing, because I think if we were to have had like more time leading up to the show, we probably would have we would start like overthinking and like really making ourselves like more nervous than we had to be. But yeah, I think we started processing things as we like pulled into the venue, and like, yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy experience.
Yeah, driving to the venue and then seeing like the stadium and seeing Guns N' Roses stage, that's when I was like, oh, this is real, and we've never played on the stage this big before, and all like the possibilities ranged in my head. Like I get them thinking, I was like, man, I wonder if the audience is gonna hate us because like a lot of people probably bought tickets excited to see Wolfgang Van Halen, and now they're not playing, and now we're playing, and like our style isn't just like genreized. We're rock, but we're not like in the same style of rock as Guns N' Roses and Wolfgang, where we're um like shredding a bunch, like we don't really do that in our songs. And so I was like, man, what if they boo us? What if they like really like get angry at us? um and so I just had all those things going through my head once we got to the venue. But the couple of days before that, I didn't think about that because I didn't even have a chance to.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard when you're an opener for such a big band, because you hear like all the like horror stories of like, being booed off, or like there's so many funny stories that people tell when they're the opening band. So we were a little nervous about that.
I appreciate you sharing that. That's very relatable. I get it. I don't know if I would believe you if you said otherwise. I would be nervous,
Yeah.
too. But you can tell. I mean, I'm sure you obviously that you both are professional, that you're going to handle it. But it's just, it is a lot to process, and everything you're thinking are things that happen. So I guess before we go to the show itself, do you know if like if your manager is just like friends with I mean, is he friends with Axel? Do they go camping? Like, how are you chosen? How are you chosen? Do you know how
So
that happened?
I think what happened, and I'm not 100% sure about this because I haven't had like a direct conversation about it, but this is what I've been hearing from
All right,
everyone is like,
hypothetical. Sure.
um, So obviously, Wolfgang Van Halen had to drop out, and then the people that were putting on the show, was it Live Nation? Yeah,
Mm.
they Guns N' Roses were like, oh, we need an opener, and then they were like, oh, the Velveteers, like they submitted us to Guns N' Roses, and then I think Duff was telling us that he watched our music video for Motel Number 27 and that he really liked it. So I think that's how it came to be, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because all our manager told us was that he got a call, and the person said that asked if the Velveteers Velveteers were available to open for Guns N' Roses on Monday. So I think it was the promoter submitted us to Guns N' Roses, and then they were into it.
Very cool. Um, what was your level of? I mean, I know you're not the level of fandom of GNR. Like, I mean, look at me. I have all these things behind me. I have a problem, you know. So what was your fandom of Guns N' Roses going into this? I mean, did you have favorite songs? Did you listen to their records before? And it's okay if you're not. Again, you're obsessed like me. It's you don't want to be like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't really gotten too much into Guns N' Roses, but my cousins were like obsessed with Guns N' Roses, and my brother was a big Slash fan. So I grew up always like hearing the music and everything. And like I remember playing Welcome to the Jungle on Guitar Hero when I was like 10. And so it like when we got the call, it took me a minute to be like, oh, yeah, I know this band, you know. I mean, obviously, who doesn't know Guns N' Roses, you know what I mean? But it's just kind of funny like how stuff like that happens.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I knew they were like giant legends, but I honestly, luckily, I hadn't taken the class yet, like, and like gone through their entire discography, which I'm thankful for because had I done that, I would have been even more nervous, and I was already very nervous.
Yeah.
I like that response, baby. All right, so um, tell me how your set went. How did you feel that it went? How any highlights? Anything? I don't want to say lowlights, but were they like, oh, did you miss like a certain note that like nobody else would have noticed, but you were like, oh, I wish I got that back. I get anything. What were your some favorite memories? I guess just overall of the performance.
Yeah. We were definitely really nervous because I think we got like 15 minutes to sound check. So we didn't get to check all of our instruments. So we were like going on stage and just like really relying on like our muscle memory to be like, okay, we know how to play these songs. But yeah, I think for me, it was really fun to play some of the new songs we have just because this was our second show that we've played in like a year. So we haven't really gotten to play the songs off our new album live. So that was like pretty awesome to just be playing it in like such a big space and just like experiencing those songs live in a big space.
Yeah, in a stadium. That was unreal because when we were practicing the last year, unable to play shows because of COVID, we'd all be like, I can't wait to play these shows at like a small house show where it's packed. And then what we actually end up doing is playing this songs at a stadium, which is totally unexpected, but very surreal to finally see people like in person live reacting to this music we've been working on for years.
And how did people react? Obviously, the boos did not happen. Your fears did not come true. But how did you feel the reaction was from the fan base?
It was when we were on stage, I was looking out at the audience and like I was like I thought everyone looked like bored and like mad. Um but then after the show, I was like in the pit, like watching Guns N' Roses, and literally all the people that looked really mad during our set like came up to me and like wow, that was amazing. Like I'm so glad you guys opened and like wanted a picture and everything. So I think I was kind of like in my head about it when we were playing. I was like, oh, they probably don't like us. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think our nerves convinced us that people were not into it. And also because our monitor mix, there was something weird going on. So there was this really loud crackling in our monitors. and like the levels were really weird. And so we were hearing that, and then we would look out into the audience.
And I like how we're
just
getting crackling right now on the speaker too.
Oh,
Oh
really?
no.
Has it been how long has it been going on?
Oh no, it just happened when you said it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's funny.
amazing.
It's coming back to haunt me. Uh, so the crackling was happening. I was just praying that the audience wasn't hearing it, but it would be happening. I'd look at people, and then like they would look, they probably look normal, but in my head, I thought they looked like they wanted to like kill us. And but afterwards, I watched videos, and it sounded great. And the people who I thought weren't digging it, I looked at their faces as they were watching Guns N' Roses, and their face was exactly the same. So I was just reading way too much into it.
Yeah.
You both sound like me, where I'm just like, I'm in my head. Everyone hates me. I hate everything I did. Everything's going wrong. And I go back and watch it. It was actually pretty good. Or I get feedback. Oh, that was actually really good. And it's just, I'm my own worst enemy. So you're making me feel better about myself, if anything. Guys. So it's very cool. As talented as you are, that you still have those normal self-doubts. That's just being a human being. That's fine.
Yeah,
Then
definitely.
that's cool, Demi. You went down into the pit. Did you go, Baby, as well? Did you watch the show?
Yeah, we were all in the pit for like a good portion of the Guns N' Roses show. It was really cool. I mean, people were dancing and having a good time.
Yeah, Demi, you were for the second half of it, you were like right against the rail, right in front
Oh
of
yeah.
Axel, like
Yeah,
right
my
there.
best friend had come to the show and she saved me a spot in the very front row and I had no idea that she was there. And then like I saw her and I was like, "Oh, got to go to the front so I can
Yeah,
watch."
you said that your friend, she was up there saving a spot for you, and she told everyone around her that as we were playing, that you were her best friend and that you were saving a spot for her. And then like an hour and a half went by before you came down. So I feel everyone was like, "Is this girl just like making this up?" And then you showed up, and everyone was like, "Wow!"
Yeah.
That's pretty great. I love that. So what were obviously your first time seeing GNR? What did you think? Any highlights there for you? Are you guys now diehard fans?
I thought it was really cool. I like seeing Duff on stage was really cool because his energy was just like insane. And at one point, he did a cover of "Wanna Be Your Dog" by the Stooges, and that was really fun. Like the crowd was going crazy when they started playing that.
Yeah, I thought the Guns N' Roses were great. I really digged it, and the fact that like Axel has more energy than I have ever had in my entire life. Like I literally don't know how he can do that. I've never been able to have that much stamina. So that literally amazed me so
Yeah.
much.
It was also just cool, like getting to like kind of see them in the flesh
Mm.
instead of like, I don't know, it's just like always kind of weird when you like you know these like people and they're like legends and like you see them on posters and then like seeing them right in front of you is always kind of trippy.
Yeah, you saw Slash and Guitar Hero animated, and now you
Yeah.
have the Guitar Hero in front of you in the flesh. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
it was
That
cool.
was strange. It's kind of like you read about like the mythical like Greek gods and you just see uh like drawings of them and stuff. And then there's Guns N' Roses who have honestly like a similar aura and myth about them. And then but they're still like alive and they look like Slash looks the same. So seeing him and talking to him was very cool and weird.
awesome. Did you? We discussed earlier. I know it's a different world with the COVID protocols and everything. Did you get a chance to meet any of them or talk to any of the camp, or were you just kind of, you did your show and then watch the show? How did that go about?
Well, so it was very, very strict backstage. Like we all had to have our masks on backstage and like the members of Guns N' Roses were being really careful, which obviously they should be. But we got to meet Duff and we talked with him for a while and he was really, really cool and super nice. He was like, if you need anything, just tell them that Duff said it was okay. He was like, you guys have to play with my daughter's band. And we checked her out and she's really cool.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And then we met Slash and that was cool. That was just weird to like see him like in front of us. So
It's funny, as you were talking, I was like, you seem like you would be it would be a great build to see the Velveteers and Grace McKagan's band.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. So stuff, same wavelength, different body frames, but we're thinking the same. I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Duff was really like overly nice. Like he asked to take a photo with us, and then he asked us if it'd be. I don't. He never posted it, but he asked if it'd be okay for him to post the photo, and we were like, yeah, yeah, it's definitely okay, Duff. You can definitely post a photo of us.
Awesome. So when I post this episode, I'll tag him and remind him, and hopefully that comes out. Because
Cool.
I'm glad this is just what Guns for me, what Guns N' Roses has done. You know, obviously I'm in radio, I'm aware of different music, but there are certain bands, especially when they have opening acts, that I may not have known about. You know, and now, yeah, you're big. Some people, some bands are big in. I'm big in Japan. I just spoke to somebody, Eric from Mr. Big, you know, that song "I Want to Be with," to be with you, and they're really big in Japan. But you guys being in Denver, but now elevating, which is I just think is amazing, and I appreciate you guys giving me the time on your ascent to wherever you guys are going. So Nightmare Daydream. Tell me if I'm leaving out any details. Nightmare Daydream, again produced by Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys, coming out worldwide, as they say, October 8th on Easy Eye Sound. And the first single out right now is the Charmer and the Snake, and there's a video for that online people could watch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. That's all factual.
Good. Good. And the best way, I mean, because you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, is that, do you have a favorite social media that you're most responsive to, or they're all good?
Probably Instagram. But
Okay.
we'll respond on anyone. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what's in the future then? I know GNR's back with Mammoth, and
Yeah.
I like Mammoth, but still. But what's the future? What do you guys got going on today going forward?
Well, we're about to hit the road at the end of the month. We're doing a US tour, so that's going to be pretty fun. We're playing it at a lot of cool venues that I'm excited about. So
Yeah, we're touring with a really cool act called Des Rocks. He's really good. I recommend anyone check him out. DEZROCS, right? Or DES.
yeah.
Des Rocks.
Well, no, I'm assuming it's going to be somewhat localized to where you are. Like, how far are you guys going to be traveling this time around?
We're going all the way to New York, and then
Okay.
we're doing like, I don't know, almost like everywhere.
Okay.
We're going down to Texas, we're going to Nashville, we're going to Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach,
LA.
yeah, LA, San Francisco, Portland, Washington.
Oh, all over. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you know where in New York you're going to be offhand?
We're gonna be at the Bowery Ballroom.
Okay, that's right near iHeartRadio. So
Nice.
I hope to see you guys there. If I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd
We'd
be
love
so
to see
cool.
you.
Likewise. Well, this was again a pleasure. Thank you both for your time. Just congratulations on your success thus far, and there's going to be a lot more congratulations going forward as you guys continue just to
Well,
rock.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
We're very happy to be here and honored to be here. So thank you for having us.
You got it. So that does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. When are you going to see the next one? Well, in the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, you'll see it. I don't know if soon is the word.